Yo. Y'all already know how we started off, man. It's Drunk Sports Talk, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm a Red Cup boy nowadays, man. I'm just drinking my Glenlivet in a Red Cup like a wild maniac. But listen, man, we started off with a shot. We're gonna take a shot. Yo, this is a twofer right here. All right, man. Yo, number one, fuck the Pacers. All right, man. I'm good. Those guys had to go home. And you know what I mean? Now we got to see the Celtics hopefully lose to the Mavericks. I don't think the Wolves. We'll get touch on that later. But I'm glad that they got to go, man. I was tired of seeing Tyrese Halliburton. The second one is, just a quick shout out. You know what I mean? Bow the head. Say RIP to Bill Walton. You know what I mean? Yo, one of the legends and shit, man. Yo, the shot. For
Shout out NBA royalty, real talk. Grew up watching Bill Walton on NBC, man, like commentating that. He's a little bit before my time in terms of watching him play basketball, but I remember he was a funny dude, and
his son's a good iconic voice. Was he a little Nicky? My hair is on fire.
Yeah. Shout out to Bill Walton, man, great, and shout out. I want to shout out Pharoah Monch, man. Do I got his picture on my wall? No, I don't got his picture on my wall yet, but I wanted to shout out Pharoah Monch because I think it was either on Twitter or I think it might have been IG. He had a picture. He was like, "Fuck Tyrese Halliburton." He had a picture like a broom. He was like, "That was some sucker shit for wearing that fucking that Reggie Miller game." You know what I'm saying? So I concur. Pharoah Monch, real talk, good shit. Fuck Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I'm saying? Word up.
Word up, man. Calm, yo. That shit was calm at its finest. I don't wish no injuries at anybody, but that was calm at its finest, man. Like that was crazy.
That's a whole fact, man. Yo, let me introduce the show, man. I was already getting ready to go all the way in, man. Yo, I want to welcome everyone back to Drunk Sports Talk, New York's new #1 sports talk show. We are the voice of the streets. Allow me to reintroduce myself. It's your boy Cash. And the dude on the other side of the screen that you're looking at in that window with the fresh Knicks hat on is my boy Q. What's going on, dog?
Yo, I'm just chilling. I'm chilling in the cut. You know what I mean? Just sipping some sip.
New York, what up, New York? How y'all feeling out there, man? Is this thing on? You know what I'm saying? Word up.
No, where. Yo, it's a little dim out here, man. You see what happens, man? A little dim out here, man.
You know what I mean? We're gonna talk some good stuff today, man. We're gonna talk. Stephen A. Smith, man. Everyone hates Stephen A. Smith. We're going to talk about his beef between him and, well, not beef, but, a little bit of war words between him and Draymond Green and him and the legend, iconic NBA legend, maybe the greatest little man ever to play NBA basketball, Isaiah Thomas. We're going to talk a little bit about JJ Redick and how I think LeBron and them is angling him to get into the head coaching job in LA, even though there's other candidates I feel is more qualified. And as always, because we are from the town, we are from the city, we will be talking to New York Knicks, what their plans could be in the offseason, some of the things that certain people are reporting about James Dolan, Leon Rose, and what they might do in this upcoming draft. So we got a really good show for you today. Before we get started, anything you want to say, Q?
Nah, man, I think we just go right in, bro. That's it. Yo, Drunk Sports Talk, ladies and gentlemen. We've been gone for a minute, but we back all up in it.
Let's get into it, man. You know who I fucks with, and it ain't this dude. Goofy A. Smith. Nah, listen. Let me take the graphic down, man. Listen. Stephen A. Smith, man. I don't even know where to start with him, man.
Yeah, I be trying to like him, but then
I try, but he makes it hard, man. Listen, right. He makes it hard. Let's just go right in. Look, all right. Stephen A. Smith is back in a new cycle, right? Once again, he always seems to find himself in the middle of drama. You know what I mean? I feel like it's more and more now that Shannon Sharp had the little controversy with Cat on the show. But Stephen A. always finds himself in a new cycle with beef with some dudes. The latest war words is with Draymond Green, Golden State Warrior center, future Hall of Famer, in my belief, 4-time champion. And also he's beefing with NBA legend, like I said in the beginning, Isaiah Thomas. Now, why, you ask? I'm going to tell you why. Because Stephen A. Smith is a fraud. Okay, I repeat that. Stephen A. Smith is a fraud. Shout out to Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman has exposed them 1,000 times. We all know what Terrell Owens said, you know what I'm saying, that Max Kellerman is blacker than you. He said, damn, man, Max Kellerman be acting blacker than you. And this is from T.O. You feel me? One of the greatest wide receivers ever, man, in top three.
Word up.
And I concur with that, man. Listen, all right, so in the latest nonsense, right? Stephen A. and Draymond Green had a bunch of words, man. I'm gonna play a clip from the Big podcast with Shaq, and this is Draymond Green explaining his problem with Stephen A. Smith. We'll come back and comment on that, and then we'll talk about Isaiah's problem with him, and then we'll talk about my problem with him. But here goes Draymond Green, like I said on the Shaq podcast. Really good podcast. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you check it out or listen to this.
Stephen A. Smith really pissed me off. And the reason he pissed me off was because he hit me. He's like, yo, it's been hard for a lot of us to talk about you these last few days. You know, for me, I'm like, it's been hard for me to watch. I'm watching it because I want to see everything that everybody has to say. You tell me it's been hard for y'all to talk about me. Stephen A., anytime I meet someone and they say something about you, it's never like, yo, I like him. He cool. It's always like, man, that dude, he a character, he's this, he's that. And I always say back, I actually know the guy. The guy is actually a cool dude. You can take what you want from the TV screen. I actually know the guy. He's a cool dude and a real dude. And then you get the opportunity to talk about me. And listen, I know you got a job to do. I know you got to do your thing and say what you got to say. But at not one point did you say, well, y'all are saying this person is up and this person need help. Now, I know the person. Say what you want about the basketball player, that's fine. But I know the person. But to sit back and see those that claim to know and appreciate me as a human being just flow with the narrative because it was Stephen A. Smith really pissed me off. And the reason he pissed me off was because.
So that's Draymond Green on the Big podcast with Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Fame. The most dominant big man ever played the position. Here's the thing. Stephen A. went on to, he had responded on the show. He had said he's always defended Draymond Green and Draymond Green's cat, you know, and the one time, all these years he's defended Draymond Green, and the one time, you know, he has to call Draymond to the carpet, you know, Draymond wants to act up. Now, I'm going to come to the defense of Stephen A. slightly before I smoke him. Draymond, and I like Draymond Green, don't get me wrong, but Draymond was wilding last year. Let's keep it a buck. Draymond was wilding. The shit on Nurkic, and choking out Rudy Gobert. Yo, he was Draymond.
He punched Jordan Poole in the face.
Yo, Draymond, I fuck with you, brother. You was doing too much last year, my dude. You was doing too much. You know it. Everybody know it. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you not nice. That don't mean you a bad dude, but you was doing too much. Now, but here's my thing with Stephen A., right? And then we'll get, matter of fact, let's talk about the Isaiah shit first before. Isaiah Thomas, right? So there was a clip on ESPN where they were, I think it was Jay Williams, Perk, and Stephen A. Smith, and they were saying, is Jaylen Brown from the Celtics underrated, right? In terms of, being a basketball player. This is what Stephen A. says. He says, this is a quote, and he said this is from a source he got. All of a sudden in air, he got the source. He said, it's not so much that he's underrated, it's that he's just not liked because of his I am better than you attitude, Smith stated. He added, he knows it. It's the same reason he is not as marketable as he should be. And that's what an ESPN source had told him. Now, Isaiah Thomas, right now, I always thought Isaiah and what you call Stephen A. was cool. Yeah. Stephen A. This is what Isaiah Thomas has to say. I have been a friend, mentor, and advisor to Jaylen Brown since he was a student at UC Berkeley. He is 100% marketable. And before you slander his name at Stephen A. Smith, tell your source to put their name on it or don't speak on it. Let it be known. And Jaylen Brown basically tweeted the same thing. Who's your source? Stephen A. goes on to say this, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to tie this all together in a second. I just want to give you some context, right? This is Stephen A.'s rebuttal. I have no idea what you're talking about, Isaiah Thomas. I've been a fan of Jaylen Brown for years. I still am. What's unfortunate is that you, who's known me for decades would choose to go on X to express whatever dissent you feel instead of calling me directly. But I get it. It's a pattern several folks have used versus me recently. Suddenly forgetting communication we've always had. So be it. I root for JB always. He's a great dude. But the Celtics have to close the deal. Okay. Here's my take on Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Nobody fucking likes Stephen A. Smith. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? One, it's annoying. Every time he gets on there, he goes, Jaylen Brown is my brother. He's my brother. I just want to say that. You can't hold the black man down. All of a sudden, he's talking about the black man. This one's his brother. That one's his brother. Where was all this shit when you was fucking condemning Kyrie Irving, bro? When you went on TV every fucking day, it felt like for 6-7 months, you know what I'm saying, during the whole vaccine thing, and belittled him and berated him and ran his name into the ground, man. All because Kyrie standing on business. You know what I'm saying? The man didn't want to take the vaccination. Now, whether you wanted, were you a pro or negative, you know what I'm saying, or against, I should say, that was his right as a human being, as an American citizen, not to have to take that, right? Stephen A. Smith would say things like, he's not a good teammate. He's selfish. If he was a good teammate, he'd take the vaccination so he can get back on the court so the Nets could win a championship. What kind of teammate is that? Because, you know, as we know, Eric Adams wouldn't let Kyrie play unless you had the vaccination. Amongst a lot of other people in that time in New York, people lost jobs. People went on strike. It was a whole fucking thing out here, right? That's one. So you went on your platform, which is a huge platform, and tried to shit on Kyrie every day. Kyrie was a year before he was eligible for an extension. Now, say what you want about Stephen A. Smith, but Stephen A. Smith words are powerful. You know what I'm saying? People listen to what he says. Even owners, GMs, public perception, that plays a part in everything. You know what I'm saying? You keep riding him. Maybe Kyrie don't get the. Thank God Mark Cuban had enough nuts to stand up and say, "Come over here." You know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, trading for him, Joe Tsai traded for him. But I say that to say this: we heard what he did with the Kaepernick shit. You know what I'm saying? Right in the middle of Kaepernick taking a knee, basically throwing his career away in the NFL to put a shining light on police brutality. Again, at that time, a couple of years ago, there was a slew of police brutality, brothers dying. Now, that's been going on forever, but it was highly publicized, and it seemed to be coming back to back to back to back. Kaepernick decided, I'm not going to stand for the national anthem. I'm going to take a knee for what I believe in. I want to bring some light to police brutality, right? Threw his career away, basically, right? NFL basically blacklisted him, blackballed him, if you want to call it that. What does Stephen A. Smith do? He goes on the air, right, and says, if Kaepernick didn't vote. He goes on the air and goes, oh, I'm done with Colin Kaepernick. I'm not messing with Colin Kaepernick. It's disgusting how he didn't vote. How you gonna be? As far as I'm concerned, I want him to go away. I don't want to hear from him ever again. How you gonna not vote and then talk about black activism, black rights and all this? He tried to throw cold water on what Kaepernick was doing. Ever since then, I lost all respect I have for Stephen A. Smith. You know what that told me? That he is a fucking ball boy, for the suits.
Mm-hmm.
Up in ESPN and what their agenda is, you know what I'm saying? And for what basically the mainstream agenda is, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kyrie, he stood in the square. We're not even going to get into the whole anti-Semitism thing. Just on those situations alone, the Isaiah Thomas, the Draymond Green, it's clear to me that these players don't really fuck with Stephen A. Smith. Listen, newsflash, plus don't fuck with Stephen A. Smith. I know he's from Queens. I know he's from Hollis. I went to Jamaica High School. He went to Edison, which is, if you know anything about Queens, they're literally right next to each other. You know what I'm saying? But we don't claim him. We don't fuck with him. What's your take on Cornelius Smith?
You know, man, at this point, it's getting hilarious, man. Like you really starting to see the entertainment side of what he's trying to do.
Facts.
You know, it's almost like he goes home and tries to figure out another way just so that he can pop up on headlines. Like, what else can I talk about so that I can almost stay irrelevant? You know, irrelevant. I mean, right. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not, it's not cool in any way, shape, or form. We don't like that in any way. We don't like that in a regular blue collar line of work, white collar line of work. We don't like that in rap. We don't like that in no type of music. We don't want nobody trying to be who they really are to
Yeah.
try to, try to get one up. And it started
Facts.
getting egregious. It started getting egregious when all the ESPN
Crazy.
started taking off, and then he's taking over here talking about how, like, ESPN can't lose him. He's the number one. He made the number one show, and he's been doing it for so long, and he's putting all these people on. But like, yo, people with that type of character, their energy just doesn't sit well with you. And I'm
He's a
pretty sure
sellout.
there's a lot of people in the world and in the industry that probably know him. You got to understand, man. These old people are in front of big lights, and they can only say certain things. But for these people to start now coming out of their face and now start, challenging him back, it almost makes me think of like, yo, now more people are starting to get in tune to what everybody's been saying. Back then
Facts.
it was just the fans and the common people who
Yeah.
just watch the show. And
Yeah.
now it's just like, yo, you calling these people your boys and your brothers? Why they talk to you this way? You sure? That's like me calling somebody my best friend and him beating the shit out of me 2 days later. Y'all sure y'all were boys, man? Like, y'all didn't look like it.
You can't bring anybody up on ESPN without him saying, yo, I just want to say this. I've known this man for 3 decades. That is my brother. And I will never, ever try to. I don't want to hear nothing, Stephen. I don't want to hear nothing about the black man. You know what I'm saying? I'm black. I'm not Puerto Rican. I love my Puerto Ricans. I can speak for the black people because I am black. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nothing about the black man. You had a chance to uplift the black man in a very important time in our history, and you fronted 2 times. You know what I'm saying?
And you
So
know
go
why he
fuck
did it?
yourself.
And you know why? And the reason he did it is because he probably knew that the damage and the fallout of it was going to affect his career. So you know what he did? Instead of helping, the black people
Standing on
out
the
there in the
square.
world, nah, he's thought for himself. Those are selfish thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to hear him talking about being a ball hog, whoever's a ball hog on the court, bro, because they're getting paid to be a ball hog and score 40 points. But you know what? They're gonna always score. They're always gonna stand on their own, man. Like, you standing on your own is just for you to just, you know what I mean, become higher level, becoming a different echelon, and separate yourself even more from the people that you say that you involve yourself with so much. You know what I mean? And one of the things, like, and my tipping point was for you for Kaepernick. Mine was the Kyrie, only so because, like, when he was really putting him down, granted the situations is much more detrimental when you speak of Colin Kaepernick, because that's obviously a reason that people should have stood up for. But it just didn't make no sense for Kyrie because, bro, there's people who coming to play in the next stadium that weren't even vaccinated, and they're playing in New
That made
York.
no sense. That made no sense.
So, like, what the fuck? Like, and people don't put 2 and 2. That's like, yo, that's segregation at its finest. Like, yo,
that made
you
zero
drink,
sense.
yo, you drink from the fountain and you could drink from the fresh water well. You know what I mean? Nah, that shit ain't cool. And for Kyrie to stand out there, I've always been a fan of Kyrie, but I've even become a bigger fan when I
Yeah, they
started
stood on the square.
seeing him become like, he was becoming like a man at that point. He was becoming into his true self. He was standing back on his thoughts and holding his ground. And
Stood
that's
on
what it's
business.
supposed to be about.
Stood on business. And let me say this. I want to say this, man. You know, I don't want to make this just about blacks, that because, you're from New York, my Dominican brothers, my Puerto Rican brothers, my West Indian brothers, you name it. We all have to deal with that police shit. It ain't only just black people. It ain't only just Spanish, Puerto Rican. We all one. I don't want to get into it, you know what I'm saying? But if you know anything about where you come from, you know that at the end of the day, we are all one. We're not going to get into that, you know what I'm saying? But listen, man, Stephen A. Smith, please go away, man. I know you're not, but go away. Nobody cares about what you have to say. Your takes are bullshit all the time. You do hot takes. Now you got Shannon, so you're staying hot. You knew what to do business-wise. You knew you had to go get Shannon because your shit was getting dry. You got Max out of there. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about that in the past, but I just don't fuck with Stephen A. Smith. And it's becoming more clear and more evident to me that these players don't really like Stephen A. Smith. You know what I'm saying? There was no reason for Draymond to flip on him. You know what I'm saying? recently, I think on his podcast, he just came out with an apology to Kyrie. His apology was so disingenuous. He basically didn't even apologize. He talked about how Kenny Smith called him up. Kenny Smith. Shout out to Kenny Smith and Vincent Smith, Queens legends, Aim High, Lost Battalion, Rego Park, Left Rack, all that. But what I mean? He talked about Kenny Smith called him up and basically told him, "Yo, chill out, bro. You got to back up off Kyrie." You know what I'm saying? Kyrie talked about getting problems with his father, and there was a couple of mutual friends that they had in common. And Stephen A basically said, "You know what? I went a little bit too hard on him." Kenny Smith maybe realized that, but that was only came after Perk had apologized the other day on national television. Was like, "Yo, you know what I mean? Like, I owe Kyrie an apology," and everybody want to give Kyrie an apology right now because he's balling. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing his thing. And we'll get into the NBA Finals. We'll get into that next episode. You know what I'm saying? We're not really talking NBA Finals right now, even though the games I don't want to get to that. But long story short, Stephen A. Smith, we don't fuck with you. This is new media. We don't care. You got Shannon with you. Don't talk about my brother this, my brother that. You know what I'm saying? As a black man, in front of the whole world, you sold us out. So you know what you can do. I'm done on this. You got anything to say?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, cool, man. Let's get into something a little bit more exciting, man. Yeah. Bum. Nah,
we got a nice little show set up for you guys.
We got a nice little show for you. Yo, we can't go on Drunk Sports Talk. You see the blue and orange background. You know we can't come in here without talking some New York shit. Shout out to all my New Yorkers. Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten. You already know the deal. Shout out to Jersey, Connecticut too. You know what I'm saying? You already know what it is, man. Big up. So the season ended, right? We all know what happened to the Pacers with the Pacers and the Knicks. There's a whole bunch of speculation on what's going to happen. Everyone's kind of waiting at the edge of their seat, you know what I'm saying, including myself. This is, even though the Knicks have lost, they lost. It was a great season, obviously. But this is a great time, and I love the hot stove.
It wasn't depressing.
Yeah, it was depressing, but I feel like
I said it wasn't depressing. Like it was.
It wasn't
sad, but it wasn't depressing.
It wasn't depressing. Yeah, because we talked about this last episode, and we've been off for a week. We had to take a little mental break. But we talked about this last episode. It wasn't depressing because they had a great season. Moving forward, we know that we are in great hands with Leon Rose and West and these guys. But it does feel like I'm like a kid at Christmas time. I feel like I can't wait to get up in the morning because my mom used to make me open my presents in the morning. Some parents will let their kids open their gifts at Christmas Eve. I used to be jealous of them dudes. My mom used to make me wake up in the morning and open all my shits up. So I feel like that now. I feel like, yo, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna get? You got the draft coming up. You got free agency coming up. So it's very exciting, but it's also a very crucial time. This is maybe one of the most important and crucial and pivotal off seasons for the Knicks, maybe ever. Let's be honest. I don't, without that sounding like hyperbole and we over exaggerating, maybe ever. But just going, the talk of the town is Howard Beck from The Ringer talked a little bit the other day about the Knicks off season, and he basically said this. This is a quote. "One thing has not changed. However, the Knicks now, as ever, are in a perpetual hunt for another glitzy star. Dolan, as ever, expects one. This is factual," said a source with ties to the Garden. "The Rose Wesley team promised him stars," the source said. "He didn't hire them for their experience running a basketball team. Had the Knicks faltered on the court like they have the past 2 years, you would have seen the old Knicks like the past 24 years. Heads would have rolled, but James Dolan definitely wants a superstar." Now, we talked about this the other day. We actually gave James Dolan some props because these last couple of years, and it hasn't been a great ride with James Dolan these last 25 years. But we said, listen, he's never had a problem cutting the check. We can't, he like Steinbrenner. Steinbrenner used to met on the Yankees, and Yankees had a downtime before, 96 and the Jeter and the core four with Mario and Mariano and Bernie, and we know the names. But Steinbrenner never cared to cut the check. Neither was Dolan. But the problem with Dolan, he'd meddle a lot. He'd hire the wrong basketball people, the Phil Jackson era. We all know about that. The Jeff Hornaceks, the Derek Fishers, and it's on and on and on. There's so many fucking names. You know what I'm saying? We get the whole Isaiah Thomas shit. You know what I mean?
Herb Williams and
yeah, shout out to Herb. The Herb was the best guy and the Nick guy, but
but he put a lot of those guys in bad positions. Isaiah Thomas, and it's just like, what did you expect?
Right, with the whole scandal, and and you had, like you say, Herb Williams, Jeff Hornacek, and just Wood was good. Wood was in there. Wood was a really good hire, but then he fired Wood. So
yeah, they fired him.
I didn't, it didn't even make sense. But that was more Donnie Walsh around that time. He kind of cut Donnie Walsh's legs from under him, and that's the story for another day. Donnie Walsh, I thought, was a really good GM, and I thought Dolan had not like handcuffed him, I thought Donnie Walsh could have made some real progress here. We were on our way, but that's another story for another day. Look, is Leon Rose and West feeling pressure now, you think, in your opinion, from having to go out and get a superstar? They've been patient thus far, right? They've been so patient, even when us as Knicks fans weren't as patient. A lot of the not overpaying for Donovan Mitchell, you know what I'm saying? Paul George. The deal was basically done, if you guys remember that shit. The Paul George deal was done. Paul George should have been a Knick, but he wanted an extension. Not Donnie Walsh, excuse me. Leon Rose and them said, nah, we're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna do it. Well, we love Paul George, yes, but we're not gonna extend them. You know what I'm saying? And that's so smart. And they've been so patient, and they've been so smart, and they've been stockpiling draft picks, and they've been sometimes less is more. Sometimes not making the move is the big move, right? But now I'm starting to feel like, is Dolan kind of leaning on them a little bit? You know what I mean? Is he saying, go out and get this guy no matter what the cost is? Because bringing a big time guy in here, it can be amazing. It's fun, it's exciting, but it's also chemistry and fabric changing, right? You know what I mean? Something's gonna change. If you don't bring the right guy in here, the right coach guy, the right Tibbs guy, so to speak, he might be great on paper, but you might be altering the chemistry of that team, right? Do you think that Dolan is leaning on them to get a superstar? And do you think Leon Rose and them? I think they're strong enough to do it. But what's your take on this whole shit, really?
The way that they've been planning out their business thus far, I think even if he did come in and say, "Hey, yeah, I want a superstar, I want this, I want that," and the third, they'll be smart enough to come with a presentation and be like, "Listen, you already got a superstar. You got damn near Jalen Brunson, who's damn near gonna be a superstar, if not
is a superstar.
It is a superstar." And if you want
top 5 MVP voting and you're second team All NBA, to me that equals superstar. Go ahead.
Exactly, and I don't know, like, if they do crumble under pressure, then that's because pressure was given to them, and I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what goes behind these conference doors and, what I mean, all these meetings and what gets said and how contracts say and, what threats get thrown out there. Because, anybody can be fired any day with these guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're the players. Like, can't just fire a player. You got to trade them. Somebody's going to pay them. They're still going to get their money. I don't think so. I think Dolan might have said it, but I think it could just be a lot of misinterpretation, to be honest, because it wouldn't be smart. Because, like, who wants a superstar when you can win championships or be a great team? Like, because what's gonna happen? You're gonna have a whole bunch of discourse. I think at this point, Dolan has built up his image to the Knicks fan base to the point where he's no longer hated at this point because the Knicks are doing so well. So why force somebody to make a bad decision that could potentially hurt the organization? And then, we could benefit depending on who they bring in, and it could be a superstar, but bring in a superstar, and next thing you know, we're not in the playoffs for 5 more years. What do you think is going to happen? Like, there has to be some type of intelligence in his brain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has to think, like, what's the pros and what's the cons? Like, damn, these guys love me for the past couple of years since Thibodeau been here. But damn, if I just make people do what they, what I want them to do, and it doesn't work out, who the fuck who's to blame? I'm not putting it on Leon Rose because they done, in my opinion, if the Knicks do something out of character, And it seems like something that we wouldn't have normally done to build a great team that we've been doing for the past 4 years.
Yep.
Then all the blame's going to be shifted to Don't. And I don't think that's not going to benefit him at all. It's not going to benefit the ticket sales. Not going to benefit, because what are you going to do? Start rebuilding all over again for the next 25 years?
Yeah.
And fulfilling people's hopes and dreams. I think at this point we need a championship so bad. You know, we said it has to be the right person. The only superstar that I think that fits is either Kevin Durant or maybe like a Giannis or maybe an Embiid. Like, you know, those are. But that's all depending on what's giving up. So if he's gonna put these people in the position, Leon Rose and Raul West, they're gonna come to them and say, "Look, this is what we're gonna lose. Yeah, we'll give you Kevin Durant, but hey, this is what they want for him. Now you want us to hurt the next 15 years of our franchise? Hey, this is who they want for Giannis. You want us to hurt the next 10 years for our franchise? They'll have no draft picks, have no bench, and next thing you know, we're not in the playoffs because the East is gonna be getting better. The East is getting better. So and it's going to be competing. We got to compete against all these young guys. You know, the Pacers are going to continue. The Magic are going to get better. The Cavs are going to get better. So that's something that they have to worry about. I'm not worrying about that at this point. I feel content on how they're going to approach that meeting when it comes time to, and the decision that they make. I think it's going to be exactly what was needed to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, very good points. I think you have to, like I said, be very careful with how you tinker with. I do think we obviously need some pieces. We have the Bogdan contract. We have a lot of draft picks. It looks like Mitch is going to be on the trading block. It looks like they're going to try to push to re-sign Hartenstein. That's what it's kind of looking like. So you have some really good pieces. I think you got to be careful. Now, I mean, it's like almost like walking in a minefield. I equate it to that, like, because one wrong move and boom, you know what I mean. You can fuck the whole shit up. Like you bring in a everyone's been talking about the book, right? You bring in a book, right? And say maybe you got to give up. I don't know what it'll take to get a book, but let's say you got to give up a Julius, right? On paper, are we better? Maybe, but paper ain't real life. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be like you said, you got to be real careful in tinkering with the fabric of these teams. You got to bring in like a Tibbs guy. Tibbs is going to be the new coach. He's going to get extended. I mean, he's going to be the coach to continue on. He's going to get extended. He's going to get his bag, which he deserves. It's very tricky, man. I'm fascinated to see who the Knicks are going to get. I'm not necessarily sure it's going to be a star. I'm like, yo, run it back with Julius and let's add some depth. Let's add a big guy on the wing to back up OG. Let's maybe bring in a guy to replace Mitch. And maybe if you can get a Paul George for not an exorbitant price, I think Paul George fit wise. Now I'm talking about contract wise, fit wise. I think Paul George would fit beautifully. You know what I'm saying? He's a scorer. He's a two-way player. He plays defense, so Tibbs would love him. And he can get buckets at will down the stretch. And we always talked about that.
And he got height.
And he's got some. Yeah, he's a big two. He even could play a little bit three when they go small. Who's gonna help Jalen Brunson now? Devo. Yes, we love Devo. But Devo to me is he's not consistent enough. We need that guy. We always talked about it. We've been on the air for a year now. A certified bucket. Who's a certified bucket? I think Paul George would fit. Obviously, I think KD would be a good fit. We got a lot of feedback on Twitter. On Facebook and Twitter from that clip. That clip we put out of us talking about KD. You know what I mean? I can understand the good points, and I can understand the points you were arguing. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just talking about fit wise. I feel like you could almost drop KD in anywhere. And he fit in because he doesn't dominate the ball. He doesn't have the super high usage rate. You know what I'm saying? He can work without the ball. He's very efficient. He's really like, he fits in seamless almost anywhere. And I think Paul George is almost like a poor man's KD, but plays better defense. So I wouldn't mind that if we could get PG at the right price. I would love it if we could keep Julius and get PG. But again, Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, Not sure he's gonna want to let PG go. They're coming. They're opening up a new stadium out there. They're gonna want some star power. I think PG has a player option. I think PG could opt out. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if it's smoke and mirrors, but I feel like the Knicks are moving away from the whole Donovan Mitchell thing. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland is out here tripping. You're hearing reports that they want an exorbitant price tag on a trade for Donovan Mitchell. Yo, Q, let me ask you this. What the fuck is Cleveland doing? Who's running shit over there in Cleveland? You know what I'm saying? Who in the fuck is running? Like, explain this to me. You know what I'm saying? You listen, Donovan Mitchell. Everyone in the fucking world know Donovan Mitchell was walking out them doors. You know what I'm saying? I know there's reports that he might sign the extension. He ain't signing the extension. And if he does sign the extension, Rich Paul from Clutch Sports, LeBron's agent, said that if he signs the extension, we want to get Darius Garland out of here. You know what I mean? So that tandem is going to be broken up. But everyone knows Donovan Mitchell has been saying since he's got there, basically, yo, I'm not re-signing with Cleveland, right? You should have traded Donovan last year, you know what I'm saying? Because you know he was walking out the door. So if I'm a GM, why in the world would I pay your fucking crazy price tag? Bobby Marks, who's an NBA reporter from ESPN, said it would take basically Bogdanovich, DiVincenzo, and 3 first-round picks. Why the fuck would I give you that if you're going to walk out the door anyway in a fucking year and I could get you during free agency? What Cleveland needs to do is don't be stupid. Don't go into the season with this dude as a dead man walking. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna ask for too much. Nobody's going to want to fuck with you. You have no leverage. And he's going to walk out the fucking door and you're going to get nothing. Don't be stupid. What are your thoughts on that?
No, yeah. Yo, I totally agree. And this is exactly why, this is exactly why I love football so much, because a lot of this shit is always behind closed doors unless the players are making announcements. You think GMs are always like, and owners are like, hey, yeah, we're getting him, or we're gonna do this. Hell no, man, because you never know what can happen on draft day. Crazy shit happens on draft day. You get a player, you get draft picks, you get players, you get all types of shit, man. You get the water boy. Yo, they fucked up as soon as they said we're not letting him go. And they gave a limit. So you know what it's gonna be? Everybody's just gonna hold out, and it's gonna be like Black Friday. Everybody's gonna shoot them deals.
Yeah.
And then what's gonna happen? The last one with the worst deal at that crunch time moment is the one to be either to get him. If not, he's just walking away, and you're just gonna have to and then whoever's that GM at that point is probably gonna end up whoever's the GM of I don't know who the GM is right now, the Cavaliers, but whoever he is, if he lets Donovan Mitchell go away for free right now, he's getting fired.
Yo, they just fired Bernie Bickerstaff. They got a lot of shit going on over there. Bernie Bickerstaff Jr., whatever. They got a lot of shit going on over there, man. What do you think the Knicks are gonna do in the draft? They have. Let me look what they got. They have. I just had it up. Okay, so they have 2 picks this year in the first round, 24 and 25. Dallas's pick. At 24, and then they have their own pick at 25. In our thread earlier, I sent you that guy. You got that? Can you pull it up? What was his name again? Let me look at his name. I don't want to. This guy right here. What the hell is this guy's name?
That was
Zach Edey. Eddie.
Zach Edey.
He's like 74. 7'4". They did a mock draft, and they're kind of expecting him to go like late first round, right around the 24-25 mark. I looked at some film on him because I'm not a super big college basketball guy. I looked at some film on him. He's tall. He gets a lot of buckets around the rim. He seems to be strong. He seems to be able to rebound. He seems to have nice hands. Pause.
Yeah.
Do you think the Knicks go? He'd be a nice replacement for Mitch. It looks like Mitch is going to be out of here. We do need size. We do need depth. Now, I'm a little nervous because you see how Minnesota, when they play big, they got exposed a little bit, in these playoffs against Dallas. When Dallas is going small ball, Rudy Gobert basically was like, you could have benched him, really, honestly, and just kept Nas Reed in there if you wanted to. But he'd be a backup. Either way, I'm worried about, do you get 2 rooks? historically Tibbs don't like to really play rooks. I don't know if they come in and contribute right away. We're gonna see if the Knicks move these picks. I think if the Knicks are gonna do something, they'll make a move on draft night. I don't know if Tibbs wants a bunch of Daisy Fresh rookies in here, or maybe he does. What do you think?
I think he's gonna want to know what's gonna happen with Mitchell Robinson first. I think that's gonna be the big thing because I wouldn't mind a rookie, 7'4", because that also seems like what's like that's what the game is, man. Look, like Wembanyama, 7'7", I think he's 7'4" too. Like, and dude got ball handled, like, so.
Yeah, he's different.
Like, no. Yeah, I'm not saying he's nowhere near Wembanyama's, but I'm just saying. But like, it seems like that tall man ball is where they were leaning to because, like, what we've been saying all along, like Mitchell Robinson gets hurt a lot. So we might try to use a trade to get somebody, lose Mitchell Robinson, gain somebody to give us that extra points. You know what I mean? Like, just in case, or that big 2 man. You know what I mean? Or that small 3, or and then have this guy coming off the bench, playing behind Hartenstein. Then there's also a couple things they could do. Maybe Jericho Sims shouldn't be playing center. Maybe he should be playing power forward. Maybe he should be playing behind Julius Randle and behind like Precious Achiuwa. You know what I mean? Like that's what they got to understand, because then at that point, like, that's what we need. But we definitely need size, because we can't just lose Mitchell Robinson for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and when I mean by that is losing height, which we have to draft big, because I feel like, in my opinion, it's going to be impossible to trade a Mitchell Robinson and get somebody in return for him to get just that height, just in return. There's no way we're going to get a Giannis for a Mitchell Robinson trade unless we're giving up a bunch of shit. And the same thing that goes for Embiid. And those are the only 2 guys that we can probably get right now on this market. So if we could draft this big guy, maybe he just hopefully turns out to be, somebody that can play well. But you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like the tables are finally turning. I feel like the tides are
good problem to have.
On the other side, and it's just like, hey, why not draft this guy? Maybe trade the 25th pick, draft this guy, trade our 25th pick, bundle that up along with maybe 2 other picks for another year, and then give Mitchell Robinson up. Bogdan, and give somebody, give somebody Mitchell Robinson, and boom, there you go. Now we can possibly have Paul George. You know what I mean? And now we have Paul George. We got a rookie big man. We still got the same big man lineup that we damn near played the whole season, because we didn't have Mitchell Robinson. He only played about 40 games. So, at this point,
I wonder who's going to become available. Like, I don't see Book becoming available. If I'm Phoenix, I'm not giving Book up, man. Bradley Beal is not the same guy. Yeah,
I think you got to build around Book.
KD probably be, if anyone got to leave there, probably be KD, unless Book, who's the CAA guy, goes, yo, listen, I'm out. Like, you might as well get something for me. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You might as well get something for me, because I'm gonna walk when it's time for me to walk. That's the only way I can see them moving him. PG is definitely viable. You got guys like DeMar DeRozan. We talked about this. You got guys, Zach LaVine's always in the trade. I don't unnecessarily want a Zach LaVine. No. I don't know who's like James Harden's a free agent. I don't want James Harden. I just don't. I really don't know. Like, there's gonna be someone who emerges that we didn't know, we're surprised about. But as of right now, I don't know the answer. My vote would be to run it back with Julius and somehow see what we can do in terms of just strengthening that bench up, and maybe getting, like, I feel like we got to get that 2 guard. I feel like Devo would be great off the bench. That's my opinion. Get Devo back off that bench. Maybe also a backup point guard to take some of those ball handling responsibilities off of Jalen Brunson. As much as I like McBride, bringing somebody like even like a CP or somebody. You know what I mean? Like, CP's kind of old. I don't know if you could run him all the minutes, but just somebody with experience and leadership and just a good basketball IQ that won't break down. Now, who that is, I don't know, but it's fascinating. We're gonna do something this year, and I say I vote running back with Julius. That's my thing. Because like I said, we were 14-2 with Julius and OG. Let's run it back. Let's strengthen the bench up a little bit. If we can get a 2 guard in, if we can somehow get a 2 guard in here and Jew and a backup for OG, because OG seems like he's a little fragile. We need a guy and he was going to be able to come off that bench and maybe
That's
a
why
little.
I'm so happy we had Hardenstein, man. If we
Yeah.
imagine if we would have only just had like Precious, man, it would have been a
That
problem.
just seems that falling out of favor too. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's very interesting, man. We're gonna be definitely keeping an eye on this. We're not gonna be like on all the other channels, and I'm not gonna say any names, but they just conjure up content every day, and they'll say, you know, they're almost like making shit up, where they present these scenarios. We're not gonna waste your time with that bullshit. If some shit go down, we'll talk about it. We'll analyze it. We've talked hot stove shit long enough. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna really kind of move on to a little bit of football, you know, and if some shit pop over the Knicks, we'll get on it. But we're not gonna just sit here and make bullshit content up. You know what I'm saying? Word up.
Word.
So let's move on, man. I hit the mic. Let's move on. Let's talk about baby.
I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna take a shot, man. Fuck the shit.
Take a shot for Leon, motherfucking Rose, nigga.
Yeah, where we all take a shot right now, drunk sports talk style. We gonna take a shot.
I'm nice. I'm getting drunk on this joint.
Yeah, we gonna take a shot. Well, I'm off tomorrow, so
drinking my Tito. I ain't off. Tito, please cut a check. Glenn Levitt, cut a check, please.
Word,
you know
word.
We do a lot of drinking on the show. I'm spending a lot of money. Help me make some of that money back.
For real. This goes to the Leon Rose decision for the Knicks, man. I have faith in it, yo. Let's go.
Boardroom Sharks. Let's go. Good shit. Salute.
Oh, man.
All right, man. Next topic, man. Is JJ Redick ready to go? Man, like I struggle with this topic. It came out. This is about maybe 2 or 3 weeks old. I didn't really want to touch it, pause right away, because I kind of wanted to see how things were going to shake out. Sometimes when people are always so used to, or always want to get to the story first, get to it first, right? And they lack sometimes facts and truth in doing so, right? So I don't always like to jump on a story right away just to be first. If you rock with us, you rock with us. I like to kind of have the facts. But we're hearing multiple reports out of the mainstream media that former NBA player and former Duke legend, 3-point specialist, JJ Redick, also of the Old Man and the Three podcast and the new podcast, Mind the Game, with the one and only, one of the GOATs of the NBA, LeBron James. He's also a color commentator with ESPN. Very smart guy. There are some people in the media and in basketball circles that are saying he is the leading candidate for the LA Lakers job. There are also a lot of people in the media who don't believe he is ready and even worthy of getting a Lakers coaching job. One, he's never had any coaching experience that I'm aware of, and definitely not at the NBA level. He's never been an assistant coach. He's never been a head coach. He's never been a college coach. Is he a smart guy? Yeah, he's a smart guy. I hear him. I feel like he has a lot of knowledge. I'm not mad at him. But the Lakers is a hot seat, bro. If you to jump in there with LeBron and AD and the pressure that comes with that job, with the Lakers being a cornerstone franchise and a legendary franchise, I don't think, in my opinion, he has the coaching experience, nor does he deserve to jump the line of some of these coaches who've been waiting for head coaching positions. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on JJ Redick becoming potentially the coach of the Lakers? Do you think he deserves it? And if you do you think he'll do a good job at it?
I don't want to say that he doesn't deserve it, because then I could say right now he hasn't earned it. Yeah. You know, and I don't think he's I wouldn't even say qualified neither right now because Steve Nash didn't have no coaching experience, and he came into a hot commodity Brooklyn Nets right
And
after
bombed.
Yeah, well,
And
he
bombed
did
bad.
no, yeah, he bombed bad, but he did. But his first season, he brought them to the Eastern Conference Finals, but he had a bomb ass team. But we saw what happened after that. It
But
was
he
just
couldn't
total.
handle all them alphas.
It's too. Yep, it's too.
Yeah. And
It's
he's like you
too
said, he's
much.
way more
You
accomplished than
have.
JJ Redick. Yeah.
Oh, he's way. Yo, Steve
Yeah.
Nash got. Steve Nash. His
Got
accolades. He got
He's
accolades
got
on
medals. He's got
accolades,
medals.
bro.
He's got
Yo,
medals.
he's
Yeah.
definitely an OG,
Yeah.
man. JJ Redick is not just because you have high basketball IQ that doesn't
Look at J
make
Kid
you
too.
work accolades.
And
Accolades
J Kid didn't it didn't really work in Milwaukee. So he stepped back. Well, first he went to the Nets. Then he stepped back. Then he went to Milwaukee. Didn't really work out. And now he's starting to come into his own as a coach. But my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, yeah, and he is doing it now with the Mavs. And that's good to see. I love J Kid, man, but
Facts.
I don't think it's gonna be good. I think there's too much cons for him to be a head coach. Is gonna be too much. Think about it. He's gonna be a coach next season. Now, whatever scheme they're gonna run, everybody's gonna be thinking that, hey, did LeBron run that? Or hey, is it who's he the boss of? At some point, somebody has to. I don't care what sports you're in, what field you're in. Somebody has to be that guy to be. I'm not trying to be your friend, but I'm trying to tell y'all what to do to help y'all win. You know what's gonna happen on the Lakers? Everybody's gonna look at him like, the fuck did you ever win?
Can he command the respect of, well, again, man, can he command the respect of like the veterans? But we know one guy he has a command. We already know one guy who he has the respect of, and that guy is LeBron. Now, here's the thing about that. When I first saw this, I was like, I'm looking at this shit with sideways. I'm like, okay, let's really analyze this. All of a sudden, first of all, LeBron said, "Oh, I don't pick coaches." They asked LeBron. They said, "Who would you like for me to be coach of the Lakers?" He steps back and goes, "No, I don't get into that. Whatever the Lakers organization wants, whatever Jeannie Buss wants, whatever Rob Pelinka wants, I don't do that." LeBron, I love LeBron. Everyone knows LeBron's one of my guys, but you're full of shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody walking through them doors right now. You know what I mean? That you don't have a say in. I believe LeBron got Darvin Ham clipped. You know what I'm saying? Right or wrong, I don't know. I believe LeBron got Frank Vogel clipped. You know what I'm saying? Frank Vogel has a chip, even though it was in a bubble. He still has a chip. Mm-hmm. We know JJ Redick's his boy. And conveniently, right before the season ends, Mind the Game podcast comes out. Have you seen Mind the Game podcast?
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
It's a very good podcast. It is not a salacious gossip, no sensationalism going on there. What they doing with Mind the Game is basically they're breaking down X's and O's and terminology, and from a coaches and players shit that people that the average guys who've never played the game on that level wouldn't, they're breaking down shit that they wouldn't know about. And it's very informative. I ain't gonna lie. I've actually learned shit from them. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing was, let me see. LeBron gets Darvin Ham fired, right? This is evidence A. This is also caught up like, Your Honor, Exhibit A. LeBron gets Darvin Ham fired, right? Then Mind the Game comes out, where he's basically, in my opinion, he's showcasing JJ Redick's knowledge of the game and basketball IQ. LeBron has always been a calculated dude. You know what I'm saying? He's always very calculated. He doesn't do anything without thinking about it first. Him and Rich Paul move behind the scenes, and they basically run the fucking NBA. Shit don't move unless they want it to move. You know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, this is just more LeBron James manipulation of who he wants to get in power on the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? And I think JJ's his man. He can control JJ. I don't want to say control. That's strong, but he can steer JJ the kind of way he wants to do it, wants things done. And I think it's a strategic play for the Mind the Game podcast to get JJ Redick as the head coach of LA. What do you think about that? Am I tripping, or is there some validity to what I'm saying? You think?
No, I think that sounds on point, and I just don't think it's gonna work, man. There's too many.
I don't
It's
either.
too many. It's too many of these young guys on that team, man. They're gonna look at him, and it's gonna become a madhouse. And then the Lakers organization is gonna be an organization that just looks like it wasn't run well. And now, does LeBron want to be the man behind? Even though it's not his blame, he's gonna be the man behind the curtain that they're gonna still point the finger at and say, "Well, when LeBron got there, what I mean, he got his one chip, but it was in a bubble, and then." Everything else kind of went on downfall. He kind of just ran the whole team, and then we were still never great. They're still struggling,
They're still struggling, yeah.
And what's gonna happen with LeBron? LeBron's gonna play maybe another, maybe 1-2 more years. He's going on. He just finished 21 years of basketball, man. Like, how many years is this?
I don't know. That nigga's on some cyborg shit, though. Real talk.
Yo, I've always thought he wasn't even like human. I'm not even going front, bro.
But you know the rumors on him. We're not going to get into it. But you know the rumors on him. You know.
Those
Ryan Garcia rumors, and I'm not saying he is. He's taking them or he's not taking them. I want to believe he didn't, and he's just a freak of nature. But I just got to put it out there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe he did though. Shout out to LeBron. LeBron, my favorite player, low key.
LeBron is legit, but I just don't think man. Like, from with leadership, man. Leadership comes from somebody, man, and I think you have to show something or come with some type of instance where you led something. I'm not shitting on JJ Redick, but I don't think he ever really led a team. I don't think he really ever, like I said, to be a good coach, you don't need any accolades, but you still have to show what you've done to make teams better. And there's been great coaches that failed with great teams, and there's been shitty coaches that made bad teams better.
Big facts.
So it can happen, but I just don't see it happening with this Lakers team right now.
Yeah.
Now, if they were all like young and maybe, like maybe just out of college, a couple of old veterans, but like LeBron, LeBron runs basketball, man. You know what I mean? Like the whole locker room was gonna be like, damn, did coach want to play too, or did LeBron? Shit. So who the fuck we listen to on the court? Like that shit just causes confusion. Like, people don't know who to listen to. That's like the mommy and the daddy effect, man. Who do you love more? Like, who do you listen to when you're a kid? You want to go to mommy or you want to go to daddy?
Always
like,
mommy. Daddy only gets the chicken sometimes.
Yeah, word up. And that's what I think it's just gonna be. Well, now will I say that JJ Redick won't ever be ready for to coach a basketball team? I think so. I just don't think it needs to be such a crazy ass market team like the Lakers, because you know what it might happen too. It might just demoralize him, and then he might not ever want to coach again. And now you got to go right back to analyzing. Being an analysis for the NBA. I think you need to build your bricks, man. You can't just run a company without knowing how the company works. You got to start from the ground up, and I think he needs to start with if you want to coach a smaller team, man. Figure these guys out. Figure those type of characters out. He's never really had to coach anybody. So you got to learn how these kids think when they're out of college. These kids that are thinking that when they come out of college now, this is 2024. They're not the same kids that were coming out of college when he left college. They don't have the same mind frame. He has to understand. He has to how to deal with them. He has to become damn near their parent. So I think he needs to do that in a smaller market where it's not going to be plastered all over the media. So when fuck ups happen, but damn, nobody knew about it. You know what I mean? Like, damn, we'll get through it. Shit, this is something I got to do. We'll watch more tape. I got to do this, and then he'll work through it. You fail, but he has to learn from his mistakes. You can't learn from your mistakes and become better at the highest level. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take somebody who just started rapping and say, hey, you're going to go on a world tour. That's not how it works.
It's a fact. That's a fact. That's a whole fact. And again, I think JJ Redick is smart. I think he has an IQ. I think he can be. I really think he can be a good coach. You know what I mean?
I agree.
They say those who can't play can coach. I'm not saying he can't play, but I think he understands the game from a different type of level. but I also think that experience counts for something, man. Um, you know, you can be book smart all you want, but I don't know. As a boss, I want the guy, who has experience, maybe over the book smart guy. You know what I'm saying, in that field. Now, if I'm JJ Redick, go taking, like you said, go coach maybe, but it's a catch-22 because you go coach a bad team, you're gonna look bad. You know what I'm saying? You coach the Lakers. That city gets very hot. That they're probably the second biggest media market outside of New York and Chicago, second or third. You know what I mean? So that seat is very hot. You got LeBron James in there. You got Anthony Davis, two big superstars. LeBron's on the other side of his career, but he's still good. Anthony Davis is injury prone. Even though they're really two big superstars, you see they're not killing the West right now. You know what I mean? They're not one of the top teams in the West. Yeah, they're making the playoffs, and yes, they are legit superstars and probably, top 2 guy in the league. And Anthony Davis is probably a top, he played like a top 10 guy last year. Definitely on the defensive side of the ball. He had a good year. Then you guys got like Hachimura, Austin Reeves, who I think is a pleasant surprise. I'm not sure if D'Angelo Russell will be there. They're probably going to make a play for Donovan Mitchell. They're going to try to get a fish in there because that's why, one of the reasons why LeBron just opted out for free agency. So they're going to try to get a fish in there. And then you have like potentially a big three. You have the pressure of LA. You have the pressure of LeBron James getting older. He kind of wants to win a chip. You have the pressure of Anthony Davis not holding up. So I think that's not a good move for JJ. I can't see him being so smart, wanting to do that. But then listen, and I'm gonna wrap this up. But then there's the flip side of shit. You got guys in the league who haven't had coaching opportunities or deserve another coaching opportunity. Guys like Terry Slots, you know what I'm saying, former coach of the Trailblazers, Kenny Atkinson, former Nets coach, Phil Handy, Sam Cassell, who I think would be one of my top guys. Sam Cassell's been assistant. I like Sam Cassell. Cassell's a smart dude. He's been on the bench forever. He was a floor general. Point guards to me tend to be like really good coaches. You got guys like Chris Quinn, who is Spoelstra's bench guy. He's been there for a long time. As much as I hate the Heat, that Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, Miami Heat coach, those guys are very smart basketball guys. Guys have very high IQs. Jay Wright, David Adelman Jr., and a guy who they're not mentioning in all the articles, and I think it's a travesty, and I think he's been blackballed, is my man, Queen's finest, Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson.
You got where you know what I'm saying? Like, how would you give JJ Redick a job when he's never been proven anything? And you've had Mark Jackson, who basically built the core for the world champion Golden State Warriors, man. You know what I'm saying? Who basically, got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to be where they're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Now, whatever reasons that he's being blackballed, that's something separate. But how can you give that job over to guys like him? Like I said, guys like Sam Cassell, Chris Quinn, Budenholzer. I heard he was up for the job. He said, "Fuck that. I'm not. That seat is way too high." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's yet to be seen. But I think JJ Redick, if I'm you, my brother, I would slow down and go and like my man Flex say, Cypher, don't get gassed. I know you got the podcast. It's a dope podcast. You're a great color commentator. I enjoy all his shit, man. Like I said, he's a brilliant guy.
Who's that?
JJ Redick is a brilliant guy, but I don't think the Lakers job is the right job for you, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. At least right now.
Yo, facts. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I think that was a good show, man. I think we can get out of here. I want you guys to tune in Sunday. We're gonna have a very special guest. I know from my last podcast, never announced the guest at the end of your show because that's like putting the mush on the shit. You know what I'm saying? So we have a very special guest. He is a media personality. I'm very excited. I hope everything works out because I know you're gonna enjoy it. We have a new segment coming up, a boxing segment. If you guys been watching the channel, we were doing drug sports boxing. So we have our insider King Amin from the Boxing Voice and the championship rounds. He will be doing a weekly segment with us. Shout out to Amin, that's my brother. We have like I said, we have a nice guest, and we're gonna talk some pigskin Sunday. We're gonna talk the Giants OTAs, Jets OTAs. We're gonna kind of peel the layers a little bit back and kind of see what our thoughts are. I know everyone's been talking about them, but we haven't really given you our thoughts on what the Giants and Jets are gonna look like this year. Some of the acquisitions, some of what they've done in OTAs. So I'm really excited. That's gonna be Sunday night, but we took a week off to refresh our brains next, because we had given you we're here almost a year now, right, Q?
Yeah,
Almost a
like
year.
2 more weeks, man. It's gonna
2
be
more
a
weeks
year.
will be a year. Shout out to Ed Television, one of the pioneers of this shit.
Word up.
But we had to let our brains refresh for a minute, for a week. But now we're back. We're gonna give you that shit. We're gonna drink. We're gonna get drunk. We're gonna talk shit. We rock fitted caps. We got J's
Word up.
on. You know what I'm saying? We're not
Word up.
these
Yo,
stuffy
man, we
media
gonna start.
pundits. You know what it
Yeah.
is.
We gotta start doing callers. We gotta start doing callers again.
We're gonna get back to that. We're gonna get back to the callers. I need you guys to subscribe and show us some love. We're definitely gonna get back to the callers.
As soon as we get to 1,000, that's what we said. As soon as we get to 1,000
We'll open the
subscribers,
callers back up.
not only that, but we also have. It's gonna be like a 2-for-1, man. We have a very special gift for you guys, man. Just 1,000
really
subscribers,
special.
man. Like
All my
and
Knicks fans are gonna love
it's
this.
free. It's free to subscribe, man. But like we're giving away a gift. We're gonna give away a gift, but
I love that we start up the show sober and end up drunk. That's a beautiful thing. I was completely sober when I started up the show, and now I'm lit.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? I'm lit. Shout out to all our core fans. We will be blasting off Sunday, and let's take a shot and get the fuck up out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you already know, man. Take us out of here.
Them shots be, I think the shots be lighting me up though, low key. Pause.
Yeah, man.
We hit microphones. We don't. It is what it is.
It's what it is. You get what you get. What's the shot for? Cash, tell me.
This shot. All right. So look. So this shot. Let's see what this shot's gonna be for. This shot is gonna be for. I don't know. I don't know what this shot is.
Yeah, that's the best one. Yo, this shot is for people who just. Yo, this shot is for people who just don't know out there, man. Fuck.
Nah. You know what this shot is for? This shot is for my New Yorkers, man. We always got to keep it real. We had a great year. My Mets ain't doing that great. Yankees are balling out a little bit. Rangers about to win the Stanley Cup. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. You know what I'm saying? And Jets are gonna do well this year. Giants are building back. We're back, baby. New York is gonna be back. You already know what the Knicks is. You already see the fucking Yankee fitted on. You see my man at the Knicks shit. We rep that shit. We love y'all. Drunk Sports Nation, New York Nation, salute.
New York, let's go.
See y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.